Hi everyone, my name is Kat, or the Fairy Librarian, and welcome to another video. Today I will be sharing my April TBR. It's a very long list this month, because when I planned out my reads for the year, I already had a lot of stuff on the April TBR, and then things started rolled over March, and I got things for Realmathon that I wasn't able to get to, and the list just kept growing and growing and growing until it's 20 books now, which is a lot. But a lot of them also are MBR, so it's just like a big pile of possibilities to pick from for April. The dishwasher's on, so if you hear that noise in the background, I apologize. But let's get into it. So first off, I have my monthly Discworld book. I read a Discworld book every month this year, and for April that is Weird Sisters, which is, I believe, the second witch book. I usually don't really know what these books are about. I just go into them blind, and that's what I'm going to do with Weird Sisters as well. But that is the first one. Second, I have The Wall of Storms by Ken Liu. I really want to finish the series this year, so I need to make progress on it because the books are quite chunky. So this is the second book in the Dandelion Dynasty, and I'm really excited because I loved book one. I want to see how it continues. And yeah, I really enjoyed Ken Liu's writing in the first book, so we'll see. I'm excited. This has been also on my February and March TBR. Will it be on my May TBR as well? We'll see, but I'm gonna try to read this. Then thirdly, I have another book that I keep putting off, which is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, the first book in the Stormlight Archive. I really want to start the Cosmo already for a really long time. And so I thought, you know what, with the release of Stormlight Book 5, there's a bunch of read-alongs for this series, and you know, if it's gonna happen anytime, why not now? So I want to read the first book in April. My initial plan was to split it up and read the first half in March and the second half in April, but I wasn't able to get to it, so both will be read in April, or I'm gonna try to do that. The Way of Kings. Then I have Becoming a Druid by Mike Mullman, which is the first book in an indie fantasy series about a person who wants to become a druid and goes on a quest to become a druid. And yeah, it sounds great, like druid magic kind of really reminds me of spring. So I think it's a perfect time to read it. Then I have The Ingenious Language, 9 Epic Reasons to Love Greek by Andrea Marcolongo, which is a nonfiction book about, it's basically gushing about why ancient Greek is awesome and why language is awesome, and it sounds great. I've heard some things that it sort of presents things as if ancient Greek is the only language in the world that has certain features, which is very far from the truth. So maybe I wouldn't love that, but I hope it's gonna be good. I hope I love that a book like this exists. And that it's so popular because it is quite a popular book, which makes me really excited and I want to read it. So it's on a TBR. Then I have When the Tiger Came Down the Mountain by Nhi Vo, the second novella in the Singing Hills cycle. I read the first one in March and I adored it. It was so good. I loved it. So yeah, I want to continue on with the series. It's about Cleric Chi. I don't know what the plot is of this one, but the main character is Cleric Chi, and I really like them from book one. So, yeah, we'll see. Then I have Orpheus Builds a Girl by Heather Parry. This is a book about a doctor who gets really obsessed with one of his patients, and he decides, like, she's the love of my life. The patient giving no expectation that she has anywhere near the same feelings for this doctor. But he just, yeah. But then the patient dies from the condition that she went to the doctor with in the first place. The doctor is not happy with that and tries to bring her back to life, I guess. So we sort of have like this mixture between the myth of Orpheus and like Frankenstein, maybe. It sounds good. It sounds interesting. So this is a book. I'm going to Rome in April, and I'm planning to read this on the plane because it's not too long. It's an ebook. So, yeah. Then I have Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas, the second book in the Throne of Glass series. Bethany over at Beautifully Bookish Bethany is doing a read-along for everything written by Sarah J. Maas, which started in March with Throne of Glass, and then continues in April with Crown of Midnight. As of filming this, I haven't been able to read Throne of Glass yet because my hold from the library hasn't come in, even though like the expected date was like a week ago. So whoever has it now should just return it, please, because I want to read it. So I hope that I am still able to read it this month. If not, then that will also be read in April. Because I want to join this buddy read and keep up with this buddy read. Then I have A Fragile Enchantment by Ellison Saft. This is a Regency fantasy romance about a dressmaker who gets hired to make a dress for a wedding, like the royal wedding, but then she gets a romance with the groom because it is a political marriage, not a love marriage. Yeah, and it sounds fun. So this is also a potential for on the plane, but who knows. Then I have a Hex by Jenny Fagan. This is a historical fiction about this woman who is accused of being a witch, and she's waiting for her execution when a woman from the future, which is our present, arrives, and they have a conversation about like women's rights and what has changed over the years, but what has stayed the same as well. I've heard pretty good things. I'm gonna try to get to it in March, but I don't know if I will, so that's why it's on the list. So this may be read in March as well. It's not too long, so that's good. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. Then one that is like MBR with a huge M, because I really don't know if I'm gonna get to this. I'm gonna read it this month, but that is The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood. A romance like between a student at university, or what is it? Somewhere on a university, a romance. I've heard very mixed things about this. I tried Below Zero in March, but didn't continue. Like, I didn't really talk about it on here. I didn't even mark it as read, because I didn't read a ton of it, and there was just a writing that didn't fully work for me. So I'm gonna see if it works in here. I'm a little nervous. We'll see. But yeah, I really don't know what side I'm gonna fall on with this one, so we'll see. Then I have Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbard, and by extension just this entire trilogy, which is the Brown Sisters trilogy. So we have Get a Life, Chloe Brown, Take a Hint, Danny Brown, and Act Your Age, Eve Brown. And they're like romances with Black main characters. This has chronic illness. They all have representation of like either like chronic illness or like mental health things or whatever, or disability, I believe. I'm not sure what all they have representation for, but I've heard nothing but great things. I'm really excited to try these. I would like to read the first book, but I don't know if this second and third book are going to happen. But I'm going to try to get at least to number 1. Then I have A Psalm for the Wild Built and A Prayer for the Crowned Shy, both by Becky Chambers. I believe this is a duology. Like, these are the only 2 books out in the series, and I don't think there's going to be more. But it's hopeful sci-fi about a robot and a tea monk. And I've heard great things, and I've heard it's really cozy and lovely and like sort of like a warm hug in a book. So I'm really excited to read it. Again, I'm going to try to read A Psalm for the Wild Built in March, because there's a few days left of March as of filming this. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Then I have One for Sorrow by Amy McCulloch and Zoe Zugg. This is the first book in the Magpie Society. It's like a YA mystery thriller set in an elite boarding school where like they find a dead body, and then we have our main character is new to the school and she investigates. Basically, I think it's gonna be fun. It looks like a fun one. Then I have Tilly and the Book Wanderers by Anna James, the first book in the Pages & Co. series, which is a middle grade fantasy with like books and bringing books to life and whatever. I am also a little nervous for this. I don't know if it's going to be for me, but I'm going to give it a try, and we'll see how it goes. This is also very like MBR because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to it. I don't know if I'm going to read it. We'll see. Then I have Dreaming the Eagle by Amanda Scott, which is the first book in the Boudica, I've heard it both ways, I'm not sure what the right pronunciation is, a quartet. which is a historical fiction about Queen Boudica, who led this sort of uprising against the Romans in Britain. I tried reading this book last year, but I realized that I really wasn't in the mood for it and I wasn't doing it justice. So I stopped reading it then with the idea to come back to it later, and I would like to do that in April. So, yeah. And then the last book on this list is The Patient by Jasper DeWitt, which is a thriller or horror, I'm not sure, about this patient in a psychiatrical hospital who, like, people don't want to treat him. They don't even want to, like, talk to him because they're all scared of him. And so, like, what's the deal with that? I've heard good things about this one as well. I've heard it's a real page turner and that, like, yeah, I want to see if I like it too. So that was the April TBR. I felt like I speedrun this. I thought it would take me a lot longer to film this video than it actually did. So that's good. But so if you've read any of these books, let me know what you thought of it. Let me know what books are you excited to read in April. And I will see you again in another video. Bye.